So you want to be able to change your life? Well, I have the book for you guys. Now, my name is Marcus. This is Discover Ignite, where we discover possibilities and ignite change. Today, I'm actually doing a book review for you guys on a book called Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. So hold on, stick tight, and let's get this book review started. So coming into this book, right, I have been more into meditation as of late, especially over the past couple of years, and I've been into affirmations in the brain and different things, especially like the consciousness side and the subconscious, and essentially trying to do a little bit of NLP, right, and essentially program my mind, right, to view life in a more positive light. And so I came across this book, right? And it's called Feeling is the Secret. And it has a lot of similarities to one of the other books I have read. I don't remember the particular book, but it essentially talks about the subconscious and the conscious mind, right? And essentially how, your subconscious mind is like 90% of your thoughts. And so it is essentially up to you with that 10% every day to try to program that subconscious mind, right? Because this is essentially going on autopilot, right? When you go on autopilot, you notice that you don't really think of much, right? Your brain kind of drifts off, you daydream. Where if you could actually, use your conscious mind and start implementing those things, right? Those thoughts and those ideas of things that you want into your life, you realize that they manifest into your life. Now, I myself, I've noticed changes in myself, right, by doing these particular methods, right, by programming my subconscious, right. And so this particular book is similar to that, right. Now, this book isn't as scientific-y as that last book that I had read that was similar to this one. This one is more about, the thoughts, the ideas, the concept of this, right? Programming your subconscious mind through your conscious. And it essentially goes over different parts, right? It goes over, what particular time during the day you should be actually trying to do this. And it's primarily before you go to bed, right? Because your subconscious essentially takes over when you're sleeping. And if you can program those thoughts, those ideas that you want in your life, right? If you want to be a more positive kind of person, if you want to be a more successful kind of person, before you go to bed, you start thinking about these things, right? And only introduce those positive things, right? Because if you introduce any kind of negativity, if there's, something that's really stressing you out, anything like that, right? That will essentially be thought throughout the whole time you're sleeping, right? And so you want to try to be as positive as possible. And this book goes over that, right? Now, this is a very short read, and it has a lot of the information, right? It has a lot of those golden nuggets, which was kind of in that last one, but that last book I was talking about had more, scientific research to back it, where this is just more of how to do it, right? Essentially like doing affirmations and programming that subconscious, right? And allowing yourself to be subjected to that, right? Because our conscious mind essentially filters everything. And we don't really know this until, when you're watching TV or something like that, you essentially take off that filter. You take off that subconscious or that conscious side of your brain and allow it to just be absorbed by your subconscious, right? And so you notice that perhaps you're watching, a daytime TV or something, and you feel like you're not quite yourself, right? You feel like you're more down in the dumps and stuff like that. And it's for good reason, right? Because that stuff gets essentially leaked into your subconscious, and you start thinking about this stuff. And it affects your mood, it affects a lot of different things. And I am not the kind of person that really would believe in this stuff, right? But I have been doing this for a while, right? I've been doing affirmations and a lot of things similar to this, right? It's essentially programming my subconscious at those ideal times. And I've realized that I've been more positive, I've been more upbeat, I've been able to handle a lot of different things that are going on in my life. And it's because of this, right? It's because of you're introducing that positivity every day, and you notice that you aren't so stressed out. You notice that you're in a much better mood. You notice that you have higher energy. You notice that all these different things play an important role, right? Your mental health is extremely important, right? It's just as important as your physical health. And so this book breaks that down, right? It goes into when the ideal time is. It talks about the conscious and subconscious and essentially how they interact a little bit. And it also goes into some religious, stories and stuff like that. So if that bothers you, I wouldn't suggest, not throwing this to the side, because it still has some great information in it, right? Now, I, for one, again, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I liked it, but it reiterated a lot of different things just in a different perspective, right? Which would be easy for somebody who's never read a book about the subconscious and conscious and how exactly NLP and stuff like that works, which is neuro-linguistics programming, right? And it's essentially programming your subconscious. And so this particular book, I think would be good for someone who hasn't gotten into NLP a lot or anything like that. And it just kind of gives you a basic rundown, and it's a quick read. And I think anybody should do it, right? And start implementing these. And it's going to be one of those things that it's going to take time to build up, right? It's not something that you can just read and do it one day. I mean, you will feel it, right? You'll feel it the next day. You'll feel better, right? You'll feel in a better mood. But if you continue to do it daily, you notice that it makes a huge difference. Right, like in the beginning when I was doing it, I didn't really notice a big difference. I felt a little bit better, but you know, when I continued doing it on a daily, consistent basis, I really started noticing a difference. And so that's essentially it, is that this book I think is a good book for anybody, and a good one that people should actually start incorporating in their lives. Now, I know a lot of people might think it's all hokey and that stuff, and I did too, right? I was in your shoes. I thought the same exact way, but you know, when you get to those troubled times in your life, you reach out for things, right? You use resources and see if they work. And a lot of times you got to put forth the time, energy, and effort for that to actually see any results, right? And that's ultimately what this has done. Because it has done a lot for myself, right? It has essentially helped me mentally through a lot of the process that I am currently going through. And so if you guys are interested, I'll actually leave it down in the description. As far as like any cons of this book, I didn't really have any cons. Again, it was just a short, good, quick read. It gave you a lot of good information about how to do it, when to do it, and why it essentially works, right? And it could, again, ultimately, you know, it's only like a 40-minute read. I have Audibles, so I do like 40-minute read, and it's a quick read, right? Like you can read it today, you know, if you have kids, put the kids down, read this book, then implement it right before you go to bed, and you'll notice a difference. The next day you'll notice that maybe you might be in a little bit better mood, maybe you might be a little bit more energized, right? Maybe you might be a little bit more motivated to go out and do those things that you want to do. So again, I will leave this book down in the description if you guys are interested. Also, if you did enjoy this video, remember to hit that like button on the way out. Till next time, I will see you guys later.